I do expect them to be able to avoid a lot of the scalpel-like cuts that QOR want to make with this Neon and Chamber.
Yeah, QOR usually kind of banned this map, and I was a big fan of how Note played on this Clove against YFP, top fragger, a true threat here. So see how QOR fare. They want to be fast and loose with this Neon. Flashes are out, but not affecting NBG, not when it matters. Man, annihilation. NBG, some quick kills, and now the sky's the limit.
Perfect start for NBG, avoiding the AoE of that flash thrown out by Darkest and turning it into a pinch on the stack that was there. Now an easy 5v2 as they'll walk into the strong site, but still with 5.
And Logan tries to make it work as the sole anchor of this team. Nerve is going to join him. That's a big flash, but Nerve just couldn't capitalize, couldn't steady his aim, and NBG, it won't be flawless, but it certainly felt like it.
Pretty singular that round for sure, but it is a pistol that Nightblood will take, and Nightblood will take every pistol that they can get. So not really a performance diff thus far, but with NBG able to get the snowball rolling early, it'll force QOR to kind of empty the brain early. And you'll already see a couple of stranger stacks here, obviously on the eco. But wondering how antsy Alim is going to start getting. And I mean, that's been the vibe for all of these opening quarterfinal matches, is the teams, you know, testing the waters, seeing what they can get away with.
Oh, jeez. You thought you could get the orb, but it was all a trap. But Kumi converts two and makes this super winnable. A good punish towards QOR, who tried to flood in with pistols with the power of friendship, but not strong enough weapons to really make this a one-sided round. NBG now have to re-clear through B and see if they could punish these defenders at B.
NBG are total fiends when it comes to just dropping the hammer. With a comp like this, especially when you can throw up all of those disgusting smokes. Watch Note in particular, like you said, the way he plays this Clove on this map, he just feels invincible, and he backs it up with the frags more often than not. You'll already see these cycles coming through. Link gonna be completely dropped out, and QOR has already been completely bottlenosed into specifically that spot where the smokes can keep on cycling.
See if QOR actually want to fight this or just go for exit frags. And based on Darkest trying to lob this one for a Hail Mary, QOR have re-infiltrated, able to ping this Clove through main, but nothing that QOR can really do about it. Are gonna just try and force some engagements, and as soon as QOR poke their heads out, it's just a whack-a-mole situation with NBG. Take the anti-eco and bring 4 into the bonus.
Yeah, well taken by Nightblood, able to really escape out into B main and avoid a lot of the trouble that comes with it after 2Z falls early. And that's another big part of this composition that makes it a little dicey rolling into Corrode. 2Z has to be kind of an everyman, despite the mobility, the rest of the composition. Everyone can be everywhere at once, but there is a player that has to be everywhere at once, and like it or not, that's going to be a struggle for 2Z this game.
Shadows traveling.
Now Alim just hoping to play off of contact, maybe even a 2Z paranoia, but as soon as the drone marks Alim, be forced to reposition. I like the NBG, kind of like the desk said, are leveraging as much information as possible. Now no knife, still a recon left, and signs of life in a trade, leaving the spike behind. All is reset back to default for QOR.
2Z won't exit out of the smoke just yet. QOR would rather just play for the 4v4. Very individually stacked at the moment. If NBG find a weak point now, and it looks like they have that B main that has nothing behind it. Now that dark cover is going to get thrown. QOR recognized, but Son of Kar sticking around mid and catching Alim on the peak. Patience is key here.
The rise of the underdogs. As NBG are hoping to replicate a QOR-like performance from when they first entered Challengers, and NBG have surprised a lot, just trying to get into playoffs, and Kumi gets a surprise on Tuesday. Now within the smoke, he stays hidden, and Nerve can't even get a clear punish, not without revealing his position, and Nerve decides to play it safe and wait for the rotation of Logan. Prowler keeps him busy too.
Guardian as well, that is so rough. Having to exit apart from this smoke too, so expectable.
NBG playing in cover, eating up as many seconds as possible. Now Logan, he could be the hero. Nerve strikes at a different angle, and it's Screwface in a 1v1. Thankfully, time is on his side. He's taking his time to throw out the recon. He's gonna get the ping, and the edge in the duel, know exactly if he's gonna stick the defuse, and he still gets to laugh it off. Screwface clutches for NBG.
Oh, Kyle. That is nuts from him to clutch up the round, and he holds onto the gun to boot. That's crazy from him. Dares to challenge that defusal tap thrice. And again, taking his sweet time with it too. NBG are cool, calm, and collected on the newest map with the fastest attack in the game. What a switch up that QOR are clearly not fully prepared for. They've been willing to take fights on stacks, but NBG's tempo switching has just been immaculate to open things up. And it's gotten the snowball rolling to a hellish extent. QOR, it's already desperation time on the defense here, as their eco will lead them to a very ambitious mid-stack once again.
A reminiscent walk down from QOR. You know, they like to get aggressive and take all the risks on their pistol rounds, because what else is there to lose? You just let NBG get to use their util and keep the distance, then QOR won't stand a chance. Now, the other side of the smoke, Tuesday has to play anti-flash, does counter-blind. NBG a bit stuck, disjointed, forcing some trades, and QOR do a decent job of trying to keep the door closed as best as possible. Darkest solo play in a 1 versus 2. He gets counter-flashed by NBG. But Logan makes the most out of it with the 3K. Wait a minute. It's winnable for QOR. On the backstab is not going to help NBG's chances. A thrifty is what it takes for QOR to get back in this game.
Just an ounce of slowdown and Logan is activated. And truly, that's a lot of what people were expecting when QOR walked into this split with this particular team of players. These guys known for hero moments, singular pop-offs. And that's all that these guys were going for here on the eco round. Logan finally allowed to after those counter flashes are expended. And thus NBG ran out just enough to be ran down by this chamber extraordinaire. But still more than enough to keep going. Great knife by Darkest to start the slowdown now for QOR, who can start selling mid-presence a lot more commonly, leaving NBG to have to be a little more committal on the resources.
I was wondering if Alem was going to want to start a flank, which is how confident you were with the stack of NBG, and QOR play this from front to back and get absolutely bulldozed by the opposite duelist. And Note is like playing his own pseudo-duelist in that case, and it feels like the true star of QOR has been Logan, but he's going to need a lot more help in these fights as Nightblood have stabilized themselves in this round.
Yeah, QOR forced to a save with Logan having to hold on to this operator. And with the no command to start, especially after Son of Kar got inserted into sight so far with the help of that cloudburst without getting counteracted, QOR had already lost far too much ground, getting cornered easily, and then Note just doubling down with that not dead yet and grabbing a kill just because that's what he does on this agent, on this map. Something in the air here, I'm telling you. It does something to this kid. So 4-1 now for NBG. Economy still rolling pretty sweetly. QOR do have basically everything they could ask for to counteract this, though. They can go for, they can try to make this, you know, a corrode defense. Make them clear after clear after clear after clear. Run the well dry, and then completely diff them in the team fight that actually comes up on site. How proactive are you going to be allowed to get here? NBG finally look to contest mid early this round to debate that specific topic.
Core are very strong on the defense of any map. That's just really their style, and you know, the whole reason they won against NBG. I mean, I got to cast that. It was all off of a lot of 9-3 starts on those defenses, but Corrode, not a comfortable map for them. See the confidence really dwindling as Core hope to fight tooth and nail for this teleporting forward. NBG try to split the site, coming on an angle. Nerve wanted to pull out maybe the Nightfall, but NBG just strike early. They strike fast. Nail him, tries to break in, but he's traded. Logan and Tuzi watch at a distance. Tuzi within the site. Logan on the bottom side with the op and just can't get a good angle or any sight lines into NBG. Deciding not to save the up and just get in the middle of the action. They want to force some repurchases out of NBG. Logan, he's been mechanically superb this map so far. Now, one left to go to pull off the 4K in the ultimate clutch. He seems to have a good read on where Kumi could be. The two exits left, but also has to top the spike.
Spotted Kumi before. Still has a smoke, still has a TP, but he's just gonna peek it.
Oh, the wrong angle. Just flip a coin left or right. What side was Kumi gonna hold the window? Because as soon as Logan would have spotted him, would have been a dead guy, especially with the op, so unlucky.
Speaks to how lasting NBG's setup can be, because when the round started there, they took the site and not the fight. First blood went to Core. Logan had an open op shot. It was only when Car got activated that NBG were really able to do anything. And then Car started making a lot of noise, turning that into a 2K. That forces Alim's hand early. He has to slide in and counter-frag him. That lets Kumi get the free kill from on high. But from there, NBG's position is like given away. They can't really fully positionally reset, but they still have two smokers available. And so the reset that they can enact on top of that, the amount of times that Smiley was just able to tap Spike and force Core to keep on guessing is more than enough to make the mid-round solid enough. Thank God, though, that Kumi was able to wrap that after Logan nearly made it work.
A good timeout for Core to have, because you got to figure out how to maneuver through these smokes, and most importantly, just this map. Core have just not played this, and this is something they banned out, as I've said many of times, and kind of really need to milk these timeouts for any chance you get to talk to your coach, and namely, how do you leverage this Nightfall, which I think Nerve was trying to set up for, but Core couldn't get the pieces in place on time, so this Nightfall is going to be everything, but on a Sheriff round, is that even something you want to invest if you're Core? It all depends on if they can get the opening pick, and Nerve will have the Hero Guardian. It's already pressed away and almost drops the most important weapon that Core have, and it's the Nightfall to try and slow down NBG. Core are going to invest after all. NBG does not matter if they can't hear, because they just care about seeing targets. Tuzi's kind of deadly with the Sheriff. Alim goes crazy. The second ult invested out of Core to pull out a Thrifty from the hat. It's possible. There's only Kumi left, and they haven't even planted. They don't have the spike. Alim is watching that, so Kumi's absolutely trapped.
What a trap play! Making it look like that Hero Guardian was over-ambitious, and turning it into a Nightfall trap that catches everybody, forces NBG to fight, and all the while, Alim is dashing on the flank, completely unheard. Pops that overdrive and starts going crazy. What a pinch that Core gets away with after NBG think they have completely scraped away with that round without having to think twice. Shout out Tuzi with those opening Sheriff shots as well. The ones that inched forward were decimated by him. But the chaos that was caused afterward, beautifully strung together by Core to give them another shot in this half.
Already see how that inspires confidence in Alim, but I guess just immediately hesitates as NBG throw a wave of util his way, and Alim still gets to tell the tale after, but 57 HP. It's not gonna proc your Neon to get any more aggressive than that. So NBG will be on their toes, though, now that they know this Neon is lurking around. Free kills for Darkest. Breaking the donut. Surely. Oh, against a pistol, you finish those, right? You finish those, right, Darkest? Okay, living sometimes is half the battle. We gotta say that. NBG gonna be pinching in at the front door is 2Z. No paranoia, but open to at least get his one and done.
Yep.
And really trust a nerve.
And in the hero rifle to note, his car was the one that took the majority of those shots from Darkest. And NBG will still just turn back.
30 seconds left.
Implant Screwface now that they've booted Darkest out. Oh, he is way in there. This is so strange, but that hero rifle is gonna grab off the trade, and Screwface has still not been found. It'll be an attempted A pinch with Screwface holding flank watch, but they can't get on site. Alim traded away by Smiley. After the stun goes through, still trying to crack on, and Screwface has finally made himself known. Darkest backstabbed.
You are powerless.
This is a wild round for Nightblood.
Last player standing.
Just throwing their Sova on the flank and finding Nerve and 2Z. Just thrifties all around from Core last round to Nightblood this round. This is a really wild corrode.
This is insane. Darkest fails to get his first kill against a stack that pushes on top of a mid-smoke, on top of their own mid-smoke. And then Screwface egos into that insert all the way into the back of CT to go for the backstab against Darkest. And all the meanwhile, NBG is able to just trade their way through a pretty set stack on A. Like, everyone played perfectly there for Nightblood. I don't know how they pulled that round together.
Darkest has been marked by the opposition knife, and he's trying to support Alim with flashes if needed, but wants to look towards the B site. Core's gonna make that call, teleporting in. Kumi makes the space for the team. The rest of Nightblood are zoned off from just the smoke, just hesitating on pushing in, just rode off of the high of the Hunter's Fury from Screwface that did little to put a red carpet down for the offense.
And that guaranteed reset. How does Nightblood continue to toy with Core psychologically here? Core want to control mid so bad. Alim has been itching to hold on to it this whole game. And it's just not meant much in the grand scheme of things. NBG are so good at the main lanes that it just doesn't matter.
Off the paranoia, it was a good start for NBG, but geez. Did cost them blood, sweat, and tears to get this done. Logan will be on his way to see if he can actually pull off the 1 versus 3. If there's anyone that could do it, it's him, especially you got a low HP Kumi, but would you expect someone to be within the smoke at this time? Logan's waiting to see if he would even swing out of the smoke. Oh, easy frag, easy-ish for Logan. But now having to cross on a corner watch, and Screwface locks in the round for Nightblood.
Still working it out. And Core has just been unable to fully meet the threats. Nightblood are too good at just throwing the battering ram through to the site. Core do have a lot of ways to be able to slow this down, though, now that they've bought back up. And the null command also available to go for a full-blown retake rather than one that has to still play around the double smoke that Nightblood is working with here. But Nightblood don't have to pump the brakes for a moment here. They can just keep on playing their way for the moment.
Defending op from Logan. That's really how you reinforce B. Alim has been on mid-watch for a while and holds it down. Just everyone staggering into his sight line. Now the rest of Core can take over. You send your flashes, you send the army. And Nightblood is starting to give up rounds here. You can't underestimate Core and their ability to come back in a match. They've defeated the best. And it's a 4K from Alim to give them the flawless.
3 members of Nightblood dare to contest the spot that Alim's been holding all game, and Alim does what Alim does, and he gets all 3 of them. Dashes right back out, puts the pressure on mid that Core have wanted to put on it this whole time. And that was a really solid round from Core. Again, coming from an individual moment, but one that kind of was set up by Nightblood to a degree here. a little bit too fragmented as they were trying to take over mid more than they normally do themselves. So back to business here shortly in round 11 as they'll go window shopping. Core very aggressive here on B main, though. It's the first time they've actually W-keyed on top of this rather than just sent the util down.
Yeah, they're trying to send Alem to go farm, but crops are not looking good in season. Nightblood very much respected that. It's going anywhere but there. And realizing, okay, the right side of the map looks weaker. Core, let's really rely on Nerve. He's got full util and could just clear out with the Prowler. Clove will be back in the picture, but you need to see Note actually hunt down these kills, take the duel against Nerve, who's still around. And Note will not be rejoining the party. Alem has been unleashed. It's a 2 versus 3. It's not looking good for Tuzi either. He would have the money to rebuy, but just deciding not to even risk it for the biscuit.
Second NBG here, Logan TP. They just know they have the site so on lock. And they go for that crunch, even though Note goes down to 10 HP off of that first snipe. But the way he's able to stall with that not dead yet controls at least 2 members of Core and Elbow for an extended period of time, making A itself a lot weaker. And that Link presence starts to get really scary. Nightblood turned that into more isolated fights on top of the double smokes that continue to be set up. Turn it into personnel advantage, and that is how Corrode attack goes. One more round for them to get some advantage on top of the favorites here in game number 1. Once again, this is NBG's map pick, but Core decided to start on this side. So curious to see how they intend to cut the knife in the side of NBG when we swap sides.
Now, Core haven't gotten a chance to really develop on the map because NBG, as soon as they get a read on where the majority is, they're quick to tempo up and get the objective done. Force the retake out of Core. And now it's back to a more traditional default for Alem and friends. Hoping the overdrive kicks in too, because this will be the last chance to use it for Alem.
It's gonna get popped. But that's why Nightblood just kept their distance here. Darkest creeping. Once again, ambitious. Considering that he is the bottom frag of the lobby at the moment.
More unfortunate timing again as Logan
Is that
looks
another
the
clip
other
on
way.
the note? He's 35. This op just keeps landing from Logan.
Well, we'll see if one of the ops can land, and so far it's Alem just spamming through the smoke, and you love to see that suppression. NBG really rely on their timings and swings off the smoke, and look, Core just combine their efforts through the choke.
30 seconds
and Nightblood, yeah, they have a lurk, but not their mid-covered, so Smiley can't even join where Kumi is going. At least he'll use the ult to recover the spike. But you'll have to pull off a miracle, and that's a 1v5, last round of the half, and Kumi's already been tagged. No time to spare, no 1v1, and Core will make this a 4-8 half for themselves.
Really appreciate Alem's ability to play both Link and main simultaneously there, even though the threat was really only coming from one angle. That relay bolt did a lot of good stall work and allowed Core to just continue to pressure until NBG had to buckle. And Core, once again, take a fight that NBG think they can just ego their way through. Shout out to Logan continuing to just get free assists with this operator in the pre-fight, though. That's ridiculous. So we'll swap sides now. And again, I'm really curious as to how Core intends to fully make this comp work without making it seem stilted. My eyes are on Logan. Like, how confident is he going to be to just kind of walk it down and be a trade machine? I assume he's going to be basically a proxy intel for Alem a lot of the time.
Definitely putting all the eggs in the Alem basket because Darkest has a ton of assists, but so little kills because he's just been that selfless player to support the rest, and he'll be solo anchoring as our eyes are on the 3 stack of Nightblood on the right side that have kept Core at bay here on the second pistol of the map. Love a flash from Darkest as well, so That's Smiley holding B, I should say. So still looking at Darkus to set up the team. They're being a death ball for a reason.
Smiley's got the fragment to be able to slow this down, and NBG have pretty easy access to B, so they can turn this into a pretty crowded fight.
There's the flash up close, and wow, a lot of information off that knife. You suppress them for now. Core still gonna shelter, get the spike down. There's a flank also forming from Note. And if this chamber from Logan teleports back, he's gonna find an unfriendly neighbor. Screwface gets the lineups ready. Recon to distract Core, get pings on who is still within the site and who is not. And off of that info, NBG storm in. Opening pick from Son of Car, and of course, Note's flank starts to flourish for a double kill at that. And Core don't know where to look and how to stabilize. It's a paranoia from Tuzi to at least win his 1v1, keep the spike protected. But that's only so much effort for so little gain as Nightblood still come out with the pistol.
I mean, that's a boastful home field advantage there for Nightblood after that lineup from Screwface is able to guarantee all the angles that Nightblood isn't clearing on top of the crunch. And as always, the comms for this team are so clean. Their timing is impeccable. And that turns into another crucial pistol round against the 2 seeds. As Core were indeed very stilted coming onto this site. It had to go step by step, bit by bit, and that's how you clear the defenses. That's not how you make an attack work.
Shutting them down.
That's what I was hoping Alum was going to do more of on the defense, is flank, because like the desk said, and Nightblood are not running a sentinel, so it's a bit harder to mark your flank and know what's coming. But Alum is just going to run and dash in right through the middle and just hope the initiators help out, because Core are losing battles on all fronts. And now they're stuck on an island with no raft, and Core just get picked apart.
To be expected. The question is just, again, what can Nightblood Gaming get away with now? As Core actually bought kind of heavily into that. This is going to be another save. They just kind of got decimated at the starting line, and that may mean their minds are already on map 2. We'll see if NBG can just fully stomp out the morale here.
All right, Alum and friends just running the stack, the death ball right towards A, the red carpet, but it starts with blood on the floor, courtesy of the outlaw from NBG. And this is definitely not a spot you want to try and push with sheriffs. At least you get the orb.
Look at how much collateral damage that car did with that outlaw shot. That is absolutely ridiculous.
A lot of damage in Core, and gonna have to do what they can with what they got and just try to overwhelm this duelist, but even solo. 1 bullet for everybody. You get a bullet, you get a bullet. And Core pick up the spike, re-clear through a very deadly outlaw, and it's not even just the jet you have to worry about. So a near flawless round for NBG coming up, getting up to 11 on their map pick. Truly showing Core how it's done, but we kind of knew this was going to be a weaker map for Core.
Yeah, we expected Nightblood to come onto this guns blazing, and they have not only not disappointed, but beyond impressed me. The evolution off of just a couple days ago. Just an elevated understanding of this map, and they're turning every inch of it to their advantage now that the tables have turned. We'll see if they can just... I mean, this is the must-win for Core. They're not going to get aggressive out the gate here, but Car might.
He's so sick with the op. And Alum finally gets to bring the speed, the pedal to the metal. The violence that the Core squad very much need is this duelist to propel them to victory. But Elam's already got a ton of kills. It's the supporting cast that need to make the most out of this moment, and there's Darkus with the trade. You see more of that. Ooh. Then you got Logan lurking around with an op, so there's problems all around for NBG to deal with.
Got a little bit antsy after Carr died earlier than anticipated. Not able to trade that away easily, and Logan hitting the double shots. Very impressive stuff on both prongs. Their core maintaining composure at the key moment they need to. Now they have just about everything they could ask for to set themselves up for their own solid attack half. It's a day full of comeback potential, Jen. And Core are chock full of it with a composition like this if they can become dynamic.
Yeah, this is a core composition that is very familiar to them, but on a map that they're not as practiced on. You wouldn't expect, like, I don't want to call NBG like a premier team, but a team of that level to bring out such a new map and to bring such fresh look to their strats. And Son of Car's already knifing them from the sky, so Core are being very much humbled right now, bringing the 4-stack to the party while they have Logan lurk around with the op. NBG suppressed and re-swing into this, and that's gonna cost them 2 key members to the squad. So Core can happily step up to B when they feel like it, as long as they are careful of Mr. Carr here.
Yeah, only a couple more flukes to deal with here for Core to take this to 6-11. NBG preparing to just commit everything to the next round. But obviously would love to be able to get away with a couple trades here just to keep the economy on its toes for Core. Getting rid of that operator or that Odin would be really nice. There's Carr finding Darkest.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, deep haunt, Nightblood. Okay, well, the flank is creating a disturbance in the air, and I think Core should very much hurry up. Now on the flank, Nervous and important 1v1 at the timing! While Smiley was changing weapons, at least Kumi takes the mantle on the front lines. You have Son of Carr on a different angle. All depends on timing. Kumi thinking about dropping down or what he can see, what he can call for Carr Jr., I should say. He's the son of somebody. But Tuesday, 1v2. They could clear out Carr. It would have been possible, but NBG, this is looking like a very one-sided. Kuro now getting a match point.
Yeah, every time you think that they've run out of ideas, that they've been outsmarted, they just come right back and punch even harder. Haven't even needed to really restabilize with a timeout. NBG is locked in for these playoffs. What a start for this matchup. And of course, winner of this having to face off against Winthrop University in that winter semifinal. But both of these teams in need of making the top 2 in order to get to Ascension. They need to come out of this with their foot to the floor. And Nightblood Gaming looking to do that on their map pick.
He's with the Nightfall ready from Nerve. This could be how they just take a quick fight, but don't want to go in blindly. And Son of Carr, the op shot right through the crack of the smoke, and he won't even overextend. He knows his limits, and it's pushing Core to theirs, forcing the Odin to yell back at the Nightblood squad, back to their corner, back to safety, and Core are left without a big win con on their side. No Nightfall.
Yeah, this is the moment where Core have to decide to invest everything else in Logan on just that stinger. Gonna now pop that tour de force. And what else could it be but for that extra control on the strong side of the push? NBG fully ready for this, though.
Good paranoia. It is gonna tag some members from Nightblood, and that's how Elam just thrives off of this chaos. When his team can set him up for success, and he gets to just hose down the competition and turn this all around. And it's, well, Core didn't have that major win con of the Nightfall, but Elam has truly started shining for the squad when they needed to the most. But you have to play flawless from here on out, and Smiley's always flanking and creating problems. Of an important 1v1 against Logan, and that's gonna seal the deal. No flank for Nightblood, and a save for Screwface.
Yeah, any gun you get rid of here is good for NBG, so they were happy to... Smiley was happy to go for a backstab, but this Odin is too important and Screwface is too broke, so they'll let that go. Yeah, that paranoia was really perfect. And Note, once again, trying to reset with the not dead yet, but Core very attuned to it at this point. You have their finger on the pulse for sure. And they're able to meet that fight very quickly. Take on everything else pretty individually, again, with the help of that paranoia. And split the board before they even really get the sight. Overdrive is overkill, but that's how Alim rolls. And now he's up to 21 to match Carr's boisterous streak, despite the fact that Nightblood has doubled the rounds. But Core continuing to hold enough cards to get by, and Nightblood not yet relegated to an eco round, but the ult cycle's still there for Core. Control still ultimately could be in their favor, especially if you can find these two ult holders on NBG early, Smiley and Kumi, who have been waiting in the wings.
Knife deployed.
Core can just simplify this round. Nightfall, go in, leave the sightlines open for Logan. It's just now kind of setting up at that door, and they send Alim to scare Nightblood into submission, waiting out the smoke. He got a good knife in from Darkest. But Core just gonna actually work the map based off of some info from Logan. Oh, son of Carr not quick enough to the trigger. And okay. A lot of yapping from Darkest.
You have 6 rounds to... Bro, come on.
You know what? Inspirational plays from Darkest, I gotta say. Maybe a slight choke. I don't know. But NBG are here to retake before the spike's even planted. It does get off in time. Nightfall to suppress Nightblood in the middle of the club. And now Logan just gets to sing with the op. Nightblood, good luck trying to get through these sightlines. Core have everything on watch. Flash out from Smiley to give him the edge, but even that's not really enough. It's just Screwface left to clutch. Not enough. Core had the post plan. They're starting to feel good.
And the individuality that Core tends to reside on a lot means that Core is very good at playing with whatever they've really got. Nerve was alive, so you get to use the Nightfall. Logan is alive, so he gets to have that operator for the exits on top of it. That combination can work, I guess. So let's take this A site, let's plant on that default location, and let's just hold that door for dear life. And it works out. Son of Carr, unfortunate plant on the judge, and the disrespect is not paid back just yet. Core's gap continues to close in on the underdogs here on their own map pick. And now it's NBG vying for that early mid control. Carr not escaping with an early first blood.
No gaps in the forehead yet, but that op has been doing work, and Logan just gets juked. Note ahead, first blood for NBG, open to close out the map, and they'll have Kumi teleport onto the site. Good anchors all around. Nightblood started to surround them, but Core get unaffected really by the blind, and they're trying to plant the spike, but the sense of security, the calm is gone. The storm is here, and Nightblood have already stepped up ready to take a swing at Core, who decided to just abandon this and go towards B, but Smiley already got a cutoff. He's on the chase and getting ahead of the game. Tuesday with a proactive teleport to catch the rotations, but surely Nightblood expect this. But Kumi just taking it inch by inch. Surprised by Tuesday, who's still the bodyguard at the front. Now the third kill of the round. A pivotal ult. Catch Nightblood off guard. Smiley on yet another flank. You got to get used to it at this point. And Core have marked it. They'll park themselves most likely another round on the board.
Yeah, Smiley's just got to grab whatever he can, and it will be this operator over here in mid. But very well done by Core. And this is the instability in late game corrode that we've seen from Nightblood Gaming in the past that's had them drop it to Legacy just a couple rounds ago, in fact. Core recognizing how much Note just has to commit to playing for himself and really doubling down on top of that. Some tremendous targeting on him. And also preventing Screwface from gaining any sort of positional advantage, because that is truly where he shines. If you're aware of where Screwface is, you can kill him pretty easily if you're a member of QOR. That being said, Nightblood continuing to throw QOR off guard. Logan, of course, getting caught so early in mid did throw things into a bit of disarray, but that offensive reset to rush on over to B site was perfect, and the TP from 2Z to seal it as well. Necessary for sure, but now only leaves that null command available for the execution this round.
There's been a lot of thrifties this game, so... All right, Screwface just gonna run it, and he just gets flashed up by Darkest. Null command activated too for the offense, so not much that Nightblood can do, but watch this round sail by. Total annihilation. And Kumi last left on the death note list, so QOR about to make this 9-12, and I don't even want to drop the comeback word yet, because we've cast a cursed enough today, Denver.
Right. Nothing bought into enough just yet. And the comebacks have been fake thus far. QOR still has the distance to climb on NBG's own map pick. They do have just about everything they need, though. That did kind of reset the ult economy for a moment, but NBG will not be able to fully really meet it. Kumi, yeah. He gets out with this. That'll be pretty nice.
Look at the map, though. They're all surrounding him. Sucks for them. They're not going to be able to get Knob. But QOR kept theirs. We'll see if that'll be enough to get them through, but there's still a lot of smokes to get through. There's the Clove ones, the Jet ones, the Omen ones. I don't know if you count the Jet ones too much, but much needed timeout and reprieve for Nightblood.
I think you do count the Cloudbursts for how mobile Car can be on top of them. We saw that on the attack half for sure, that Car was able to make a lot of space thanks to the Cloudbursts. No blind required until after it started to fade, and that let the fights really reset. It was a great spear tip that opened a lot of fights up, but much like we saw when QOR was forced to hold on that defense, NBG have to split their resources up way too thin in the pre-plant, and it leads QOR to look for whoever can be fought, whoever can be reached. It gets a lot of easy first bloods for them. They're doing a great job of finding those and nailing that weak angle early on and just digging into that pressure point. So in response, Nightblood Gaming, honestly, I think they just have to go for a read. I think they have to feel when QOR are telegraphing themselves and react to it accordingly. Maybe that comes into play with just some reactive ultimates to retake, because you could probably do that too. You have the time. You have 3 rounds, but it's very risky at this point. QOR are as locked in as they need to be to take this to overtime.
Wondering how many more flanks Smiley is going to go on, because he plays solo on his own. Then I guess he can use flashes for his own kills, but maybe the rest of the team could really use his help, and Kumi just destroyed QOR. Marching forward off of the Alum speed. Now with the smoke to the left side, or maybe trying to draw Nightblood into the site, while QOR dominate in the middle. Wow. Just QOR has such good map spread, good map control, that there's nowhere for Nightblood to stabilize. And QOR will make this double digits with a potential to force overtime if Nightblood don't figure this out.
Very dominant round that sends NBG right back to the drawing board. And with nothing in their pockets as well. They will be able to, I mean, NBG are professional improvisers. They live to find opportunities, and Corrode's a very opportunistic map. But again, QOR, individually, everyone is keyed in and able to hold their own. That is what gets QOR over the line. Look at Darkest, up to 23 assists.
He's been insane. Like I said, such a good supportive player for Alum. He's usually buddied up with him at all times. Now off the smoke, they've marked Car at the spot before. And just, you can hide, but you can't run, apparently. Nightblood completely caught. Prowler be chomping down on Note. Core's got information. They don't have the spike, though, but that's fine. Alim's got the spot, but Screwface has the cutoff. But just with the Classic, there's only so much damage he can do. But this is going to cripple Core down to a 3-member roster. But probably more than enough to close out the round, especially still with an op watching through an open sideline.
Yeah, they're just watching Link. They know that's where Smiley is, and they're going to find out that's where Note's coming from, too. Too intimidated to be able to pick up a rifle, and too overpowered by merely Alim, potentially. Oh, he would love to, but he's on a team that actually cares about winning. So they'll be able to help him out and get Core to 11-12. And once again, Core has everything they need to force the tempo upon NBG time and time again. Nightblood will be forced to play reactively. It'll come down to reflexes a lot. Carr might go for a glass cannon op on top of his blades. Yeah, let's get creative.
Honestly, screw it. It is do or die, 11-12, last round of regulation. And I think Nightblood are starting to get figured out and downloaded. If it's not Note kind of overextending, it's maybe Smiley on the flank. Son of Carr has been sticking on this A side, and Core have overwhelmed that with flashes before. Knives will be out though. Son of Carr done playing around. Alim will have the overdrive. Paranoia right through Nightblood. As on another angle, Alim just carves his name into the corpses of Nightblood. And Core have fully evicted Nightblood from their homes and are ready to force some OT. And maybe an ace?
Give it to him!
You gotta. Alim's not going anywhere. So, unfortunately for him, it'll probably be Tuesday. Nonetheless, you gotta talk about the Core bounce back.
Here.
Oh, Tuesday, what a teammate. Here, get him, he's here. Nah, don't make me do it.
Oh man, the moment the team becomes desensitized, Alim becomes activated. The overdrive rolling up the middle. As soon as that paranoia goes through, and you think he doesn't have the time. Oh, but brother Alim always has the time. Double down onto Note, who continues to pull almost no impact on this W key and Clove in the latter quarter of regulation. As now we exit that as a whole. NBG back to their strong side where they got their own streaks going. But there is a certain player in the lobby that has taken every ounce of the spotlight at this point and could just drag Core over the line on NBG's own pick.
From a 12-5 start from Nightblood, we were questioning why Core were dropping the knees on bodies so soon when they had so many more rounds to go. Well, look where we are now. It's drone from the Nightblood trying to look into the B site. But as soon as Core sensed blood in the water, I could see them sending Alim, but Alim didn't go on a flank on their defense in the first half at all, despite the lack of sentinels that could really catch them. Nightblood just really staying honest and in their spawn.
Yeah, gaining nothing at the moment. Seeing if Core try to act too quickly on their own smokes. Instead, they'll just send Alim on top of a Darkest Flash to gain mid back, but now it's NBG's turn to do the same. They'll gain that first half on top of their smoke that they set up as they try to gain passive control on the lanes, but Alim peeks out and grabs the duelist counterpart.
Just the aim trainer simulator right down main. Very distant battle. Nightblood lose someone very key to their engages. NBG will still have Smiley with one flash left and a dream, and Kumi with the paranoia as well. But Kumi a bit desynced, and then NBG have their heads desynced from their bodies too. What a hold from Core.
Switching sides. Match point.
And so the onus is once again on Nightblood, who's still 8 rounds deep. Have all the chutzpah in the world to try to take this back, will continue to play unabashedly as themselves. They found their identity this year, that's for sure. But can it get them back into this game. Carr back on the glass cannon operator. Screwface holding down that Odin. Lineups clear, stacks available, aggression not imminent, but Alim is forward. And a lot dumped into clearing the link in the site itself, but Core is forward and in.
Then you have Logan watching the possible flank while Screwface just takes a shot in the dark, literally. And Core are left without Darkest, without those flashes, without maybe a null command. And this is a 9-round win streak from Core that Nightblood are trying to break. They have the mid control. They won't be able to flank and do much. It's going to be about also Nightblood activating in time.
Yeah, on a crunch for sure. And Logan, the first checkpoint again, if they can just slow this down. Missing the first shot, but the Headhunter immediately after and can dictate against Son of Car 2. It's the rest of NBG that have to make up the space, but Smiley can hold on to all of it, and Tuzi is suddenly left alone. The drag on Takumi is good, but the rest of NBG can make it up, and they do indeed have enough time to take us to OT2. Their first defensive round in 7. And yet another term that we will take here on Corrode.
Don't get shot. Human brains are hard to replace.
Both teams having a much more successful offense, but then it's both teams winning their defense over overtime rounds. Got it. Really figuring out each other as
Oh, we love this game.
push comes to shove. Yeah. Screwface. What an important opener, too.
Yeah. That double kill from Logan was insane, but there's luckily enough this time. That's the whole thing is, like, if Nightblood have enough of a stack of a death ball, then they're unstoppable. They'll just keep W keying, but they've, like, Core have done what they've wanted to do. They've driven the scalpel into the hip of NBG all too often, and it's made the pushes so much weaker.
Full angle for Logan and just gonna fade away. Too many smokes. Doesn't want to risk dropping, including just still being a glass cannon up, and Darkest finds a lurker in mid, and BORZ is now the only option out of Nightblood. And it's the fight or die. And now within the site, they don't even have the spike plane, and Nightblood have to pour blood from their opponents. And it's not working out. Everywhere they clear, they are met by confrontation. And Darkest, who has a 3K and a null command, so will be Core getting up to match point. Especially with that clear from Logan.
Round full of consolations there that NBG have to hand over to Core, and Core just keep punishing over and over again for it. Continuing to drive the nail in and look unabashedly stronger. And so NBG, yet again, they gotta come through as themselves, have enough firepower. They made it a 5v4 nice and early, and that was enough to get them over the line despite the hero moments that Core still brought to the table. And again, these guys are locked in, ready to take this here and now. Ready to get this done in 2 maps and go have that date with Winthrop in the winter semis.
At least NBG like broke the win streak, which doesn't mean much besides just breaking the insane morale that Core have been building up towards, the momentum that made them look so impossible. What made the impossible possible when Core were down 5-12. And look where we are now. This is still so insane of not even just the bounce back this match, but just their from Challengers not being in playoffs to here and now. Your triple man swing. No, has almost all the heads lined up. Will still be good for 1. And Smiley deals with the chaos quite well through even the wall. Good timing against Alim. Could go unpunished. No, he seized and flashed. Great retaliation from Core. 3 versus 3 to decide our map 1 winner potentially. But Screwface puts the ball back in the defense court, back in Nightblood's favor.
Just spamming it down before anything gets released, giving himself away. It doesn't matter. Core walk into the hail and turn this into a 2v3, and NBG is here far earlier than before for the retake. They can experiment with how they operate on this. No smokes available either, and Logan is on the wrong peak.
Core is just gonna have at least, just gonna play as safe as possible to avoid any paranoia, some shock bolts that could put them in awkward positions. And Nightblood are working every second of this clock. And Nerve, as soon as he hears a spike getting tapped, could be reacting accordingly, but the drop down is found. Logan and Nerve combine on the post plant. It's looking good, but Screwface, the lone wolf yet again, knows he doesn't have time. Nerves just has to deny, and Core have made the ultimate comeback on map 1.
Inch by inch, and then mile by mile, and then just right back to inches again. Core get the job done against a Nightblood Gaming that continue to play with such heart and continue to challenge again and again. The strategies that these teams have brought to the table on both sides have been falling apart far quicker than they've anticipated, and so we've had to see a lot of individual thinking coming from both sides. And Core, that is where they shine, that is where they excel. The individual is where Core is best, and they have had enough of that individual talent to carry their way through. Of course, Screwface is going to hold that spike. And so Core will walk into map 2 with the win.
Yeah, there was something in the air, especially when they start Core started dropping knees on bodies. We were like, wait a minute, you still got 6 more rounds. And they closed out so many more.
And they did it.
Our jaws are on the floor. Core have done it. They surprised us against Envy. They surprised us here again. But there's still more maps to go. Lotus, Core's actual choice, is coming up next. Looking forward to it. We'll see you there.